welcome to the fourth episode of Forensic Science Podcast with Jak. My name is Jakub Jelik, and today we're diving into fascinating world of bloodstain pattern analysis, or BPA for shortcut. Uh, BPA is a crucial tool in crime investigation. It helps forensic scientists reconstruct what happened during the violent events that they are exploring. And in this episode, we will cover a reflection on what I've learned about BPA. We will explore famous crime that was solved using this method, and we will highlight on exciting current events in this field. So let's get started. In the last module of this class, we have explored the bloodstain pattern analysis. Before this, I thought that blood evidence was just about mostly collecting DNA, but it is actually so much more. BPA involves studying the size, shapes, distributions, and locations of the bloodstains to understand the events that caused them. For example, the analysts that are exploring can distinguish between passive drops, like those caused by gravity, and spatter patterns, which are created by an external force, such a weapon, and find out what weapon was used and from what direction. What I found really interesting and what stood out to me while exploring bloodstain analysis is the concept of impact angles that we explored and did some homework on. Because using trigonometry, these analysts can calculate the angle at which blood droplets hit the surface, and they combine these angles, which allows them to determine the point of origin, or basically where the blood came from in this dimensional space, which basically leads to creating something like a map of current crime scene. I actually found this very challenging when I was learning about the bloodstain pattern analysis, and the impact angles were one of the most important things in the analyzing, and we could see that small tiny details in the patterns can drastically change the results of the analyzing. For example, the size of blood spatter depends on the velocity of the impact, and then it changes the whole pattern. It can be from slow drip of the blood spatter, which would just land on the ground and make some pattern on the ground, to, for example, high speed splatter from a gunshot that would just splatter all over the place. And this taught me how detail-oriented forensic scientists must be to find any small detail that can help them. From here, let's move to one famous crime case where bloodstain pattern analysis played a really important role. This crime case is the Sam Shepard trial. So, the 1954 murderer of Marilyn Shepard, her husband Dr. Sam Shepard, was convinced of her murder in what many called bypass trial. He was sure that it was him, but he claimed that he was innocent, saying that the intruder had attacked his wife while he was asleep. Many years later, in 1999, the case was reopened with the modern forensic techniques of bloodstain pattern analysis. Bloodstain pattern analysis became a really important piece of the puzzle in this case, where analysts studied the spatter patterns on the walls, bed, and clothing, and they concluded that the attacker would have been covered in blood. However, Dr. Shepard had no significant bloodstains on him when the police arrived, supporting his claim that he wasn't the killer. Another very interesting thing that could be found, and that they actually found in this case, is that blood bloodstain pattern analysis noted and showed the experts that the patterns were consistent with an attacker using non-dominant hand, and which was another detail that didn't align with Dr. Shepard. This new evidence, combined with other findings, eventually led to his making him free and not being guilty of the murder, though The question about this case still remain. It's a powerful example of how forensic science, especially blood pattern analysis, can bring clarity to really complex cases, even decades later from the pictures or videos. Well, this was a really interesting case from the history, but now let's move on to what's happening with bloodstain pattern analysis nowadays. One of the current events, mostly what is happening in the world, is that the experts are training AI in bloodstain pattern analysis. Recently, researchers have started integrating AI or artificial intelligence into bloodstain pattern analysis. And one exciting project involves training AI models to analyze bloodstain patterns way faster and more accurately than ever before. Usually, before, bloodstain pattern analysis relied heavily on the expertise and interpretation of the forensic scientists, while they could miss something. While these experts are highly skilled, they still could have missed something. That's what I'm saying. And there's always room for some human error. But the artificial intelligence can analyze thousands of patterns, compare them to very big databases it was trained on of solved cases, and it can make precise calculations in minutes. This technology could standardize bloodstain pattern analysis and reduce the chance of subjective errors. For example, uh, one recent study tested an AI tool on stimulated crime scenes, it successfully distinguished the difference between impact spatter and transfer stains, which is helping investigators determine whether the stains resulted from violence or accidental attacks or contact. This advancement has made potential to revolutionize how crime scenes are analyzed in the future and what details will be brought from them. To wrap today's episode up, let's get a quick summary. Today, we explored the science behind bloodstain pattern analysis, how it helped solve a historic case, and how AI is shaping its future and is being used as an incredible tool. Bloodstain pattern analysis is an incredible thing that combines physics, biology, and mathematics to uncover the truth behind violent events in crime scenes. From the Sam Shepard trials to cutting-edge AI, we can see how science continues to evolve in pursuit of real justice. With saying that, I want to thank you so much for tuning into this last episode and honestly, the whole entire podcast series. And I hope you enjoyed learning about forensic science with me as much as I have. And don't forget to check my previous episodes. They're on this channel. And feel free to share any thoughts that you might have. And until next time, until other forensic science class, keep exploring the fascinating world of forensic science and have a good day.